Hey everybody, welcome back to the Josh Wiley channel. Today we're going to talk about how cheap can you actually build an AR-10 rifle. Hey everybody, welcome back. If you haven't been subscribed to my channel, or if you have missed the earlier video I did close to a month or so ago, I actually did one of these how cheap videos on how cheap could you actually build an AR-15. Now, if you weren't on Facebook on any of the gun pages that I'm a member of, I had the video of the how cheap can you build an AR-15 on some of those gun pages. And I got a lot of good feedback from it, and a lot of people liked it and agreed with the point I was getting across with it. And then there was a bunch of other people who got downright pissy over a bunch of stuff, of just the idea of building a gun cheap. Now, the whole purpose of this video and the last video, and if I do any more how cheap videos in the future, the whole point of these videos is to let you know, if you're either trying to get into AR-15s or AR-10s and you're interested in building one, it is cheaper to build one than it is to buy one. And if you're looking to try and build your own, it does not necessarily cost you an arm and a leg to do so. This video is for you, those people that want to get in the gun scene and don't have a whole lot of money, and you're trying to do a budget build, and you're hopefully trying to see if you can actually build one of these. Now, the short answer is yes, you can build one of these for cheap. A lot of people will tell you not to do that, and if you have the money to buy expensive stuff or an expensive gun, do that. But if you only have a few $100s and you ain't got $1,000 or $2,000 like apparently a lot of people on these gun pages have, you can still build a gun. Alright, so first we're going to go over all the parts that you want for your AR-10. Now, unlike the other video on building AR-15, I think on the AR-15 there was a lot of different stuff that I found on Palmetto State Armory and eBay. You can find a whole lot of stuff on eBay cheaper than you can find anywhere else on the internet. Now, when it comes to AR-10s, most of the stuff that I'm about to tell you is on Palmetto State Armory's website. And we're going to go through all of the parts stripped so you can completely assemble an AR-10 rifle. We're going to go over how much all the parts are and how much it is with all the parts together. How much is it going to cost you to build an AR-10 rifle? Now, at the end of the video, there's another way you can do this that's actually cheaper, but we'll get into that in a second. Now, first, your lower receiver. You can get a stripped AR-10 lower receiver on Palmetto State Armory for $70, which is far cheaper than any other stripped AR-10 lower receiver that I've ever found anywhere else on the internet or in any store or gun store that I've ever been in. So, your lower $70. The parts kit for this lower receiver, you can actually use the same parts kit that you do for your AR-15 lower, which will most of the time be around 50 bucks. And if you get subscribed to Palmetto State Armory's newsletter, they'll email you their daily deals and stuff, and if you keep up on it, most of the time you can find a lower parts kit for under $50. Now, you can get a complete buffer tube kit, including a stock, the cheap plastic black stock that most of you get on your cheaper AR-15s or AR-10s when you buy them from the store. You can get the whole buffer tube kit and the stock on Palmetto State Armory's website for $70. And your upper receiver, just the upper receiver, you can also find on Palmetto State Armory for 150 bucks. Now, that's a whole lot more expensive than your AR-15 upper, and it's still a whole lot cheaper than any other AR-10 upper that I found online anywhere else or in any store. And moving on to barrels, barrels are expensive. Now, for AR-15s, usually you can find a bunch of barrels at quite a few different places on the internet and get a barrel for as cheap as $100 or even $70 or $80. Well, AR-10 barrels are not that cheap. Now, the cheapest one that I've been able to find, which is a whole lot cheaper than any other barrel anywhere on the internet I found, is also at Palmetto State Armory, and you can get a hold of one of those barrels for $190. Now, the gas block in your gas tube, you can actually use the same gas block and gas tube as you would on AR-15, and you can usually find them for about 20 bucks. Now, if you can't find the gas tube and gas block together for that cheap, usually you can find a gas tube for as little as 10 bucks or sometimes even less, and you can find a gas block for as cheap as 15 bucks. And your handguard, you can also find the same handguard that you'd put on your AR-15, you can put on your AR-10. Now, handguards, just like in the other video, you can find handguards on eBay for dirt cheap, and there's not a whole lot different than any other handguard, and it's made from the same material and everything, so there's nothing wrong with buying a cheap handguard. So you can find these handguards on eBay for as little as 40 bucks. Now, your flash hider, you can also find those on eBay for as little as $20. And your charging handles, you can also find on either eBay or Palmetto State Armory also has one for 20 bucks. Now, like your AR-10 barrel, your AR-10 bolt carrier group is going to be expensive. You can find AR-10 bolt carrier groups at a number of different places. I know Palmetto State Armory has them, and you can find them in a couple of other places. But the cheapest AR-10 bolt carrier group that I've ever been able to find is about 250 bucks. Now, this bolt is probably going to be, if you're doing a budget build and trying to be as cheap as possible, your bolt is where the money's going to be. The bolt is, your bolt carrier group is going to be the most expensive thing, and then your barrel is not going to be far behind. Now, if you want to get all of that stuff and build your own AR-10, all of that stuff, the cheapest that I've been able to find will run you about $850. Now, there's actually another way that you can build an AR-10 rifle for even cheaper than that $850.
Oh my God!
If you go to Palmetto State Armory, they actually have a complete lower. The whole lower parts kit, buffer tube kit, and a stock. The whole complete lower for 160 bucks.
Oh my God!
They also have a complete upper assembly. And yes, they have it complete with a charging handle and with a bolt carrier group. You can get one of these complete upper assemblies from Palmetto State Armory for $300.
Oh my God!
Yes, I said that correctly. Most of the time you won't be able to find a BCG for AR-10 for usually under 250 bucks, but you can get the whole entire upper assembly from Palmetto State Armory for $300. Now, if you get that complete upper assembly and the complete lower assembly, that is everything you need for your AR-10 rifle. And if you get both of those, you're only looking at about $450 for a fully functioning AR-10 rifle.
Oh my God!
Now, going back to where I said, talking about how different people feel about buying cheap crap and stuff like that, a lot of it might be crap. And if you were like me, when I first started getting into AR-15s, you ain't got a whole lot of money. And when I was getting into AR-15s, I didn't have a whole lot of money, but I wanted to go ahead and get one and shoot it and learn about it and all that good stuff. And then over time, upgrade it as I had the money. And then you keep on doing that, and maybe sometime in the future you get more and more money and you can start upgrading more of your builds and having more builds. Or you can start buying more expensive stuff and build a really expensive rifle. But if you don't have a whole lot of money and you want to do a budget build, it is okay to buy cheap stuff. It's not going to be as good as the more expensive stuff, obviously, but you can build a rifle for cheap. And if you ain't got a whole lot of money and you still want to build a rifle, you can do that. That's the whole purpose of this video and the last How Cheap video and any other How Cheap build videos that I do in the future. Like I said, this is only for you, whoever's got a little bit of money and just trying to build a rifle for cheap. You can do it. If you like this episode, please give me a thumbs up. All of y'all, please let me know your thoughts down in the comments, and if you find something that I've gone over that's cheaper than what I said, please leave that down in the comments too, so anybody watching this video, if they're building a cheap rifle, they can get that information down there. Also, if you haven't yet, please consider getting subscribed to my channel, and feel free to share it around on social media, and I'll see y'all next week. Thanks.
Oh my God!